Has anybody ordered a hot dog on the baked potato?
Not yet.
I should have done that. Oh, I should have done that. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of No Coin Drop Required. I am really excited for my guest this week because let's talk about my favorite food, potatoes, 24 hours of a women's tournament, and Crazy Martins in Piqua. What do all those have in common? Brooke Spradlin. And JJ of course wants to say hi too. I am so excited to talk with Brooke this week. Brooke, welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm super excited because there's tons of things that I want to talk about with you that have been happening ever since we had the 24-hour tournament. I am rocking the 24-hour tournament shirt today just for you because I knew you were coming to hang out with me. But I know I have so many things that I want to talk about with you, and I'm going to jump right into that. And I want to talk about the amazing baked potato that I had yesterday. So, the baked potato, a food truck new to your area. Hi, JJ. New to your area in Piqua, Ohio. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so the idea came about a year ago. My friend and I were sitting and just kind of chit-chatting about, like, her and I have always kind of worked together at different places. And for the past couple years, we haven't. And we kind of miss working together. And we're like, we need to come up with something that we can do together again. So we thought, well, we love food and we used to work in restaurants, but that's a really, really big commitment. And then hindsight's 2020, a year later, thank goodness we didn't.
Yeah.
But, so we thought, well, maybe a food truck, because then we can open up when we want. And then if we have to work our other jobs, then we can close up. So it seriously just started there with the idea, and we both thought baked potatoes would be fun. And yeah, a year of planning, a year of putting it together, and just yesterday we had our very first semi-soft opening. I wouldn't even consider it that. It was pretty much a backyard barbecue, but it was fun. We had a really good time. You showed up.
I did.
Happy.
I did. I drove. It's a little bit of a ways for me, but like I said, you had me at baked potato. So I was like, I'm in. I'm done. Like, let's go get this. Let's go get a baked potato, because I've never seen a baked potato food truck before. If there is one that exists, please let me know in the Ohio area at all, but I haven't seen one.
I know there are a lot around. I don't know about Ohio. I'm sure there are, but I know that there are a lot around. Like, I've seen tons of other baked potato trucks, but they all have their own unique spin, which is really cute. I love it.
So what's going to be your unique spin?
I think our unique spin is, one, our twice baked potatoes are kind of good. I really like them. We have chili that is a sweet heat chili. Most people think of chili and it's like a savory, spicy type of flavor. Ours is actually a sweet chili. It's spicy too, but you get the sweetness first. And it's one of those things that at first you're like, oh, chili's not supposed to be sweet. But then once it sinks in, you're like, oh, dang, that's really good. Like, it's pretty cool. And it was something that we knew would be good, but it's definitely something that has had the most feedback of people being like, that's going to be really good. And yesterday, our number one seller was our chili cheese hot dog.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it's good on nachos, too.
So what's all on the menu besides baked potatoes?
So besides baked potatoes, we have hot dogs, we have soft tacos, and then we have nachos and cheese. And so you can just kind of play around with everything. Everything kind of mixes and matches. You can get whatever on the side. And we've got something called a hot box where you can choose 3 items for $5. And if they just come plain, the toppings are separate pricing, but it's still pretty inexpensive meal.
Yeah.
And you can kind of try everything out. So that's been pretty cool. And then it comes in a little convenient box, so if you want to take it home or whatever, or only eat some and eat the rest later, you can. So
has anybody ordered a hot dog on the baked potato?
Not yet.
I should have done that. Oh, I should have done that.
We thought about coming up with names for, like, you know, this one's called this, where you get this on top and this on top. But then we were like, we want the customers to explore and play how they want, and I don't want them to feel like we, you know, you can only have it this way, and if you try to get it without that, it's like, you know, that's just a game you play. Like, just, these are our toppings, and I'm hoping people will, like, put that hot dog on top it with chili and nacho cheese, and...
Next time. But there's another...
Suggested the taco meat on a potato. Like,
I think that was one of the things that I sent you when we were talking, when you first mentioned this to me about doing, and then I sent you a recipe on like chili on like a sweet potato. I've seen that, but I haven't actually tried that, and I'll wait until you come up with that, and then
that's something I want to definitely dive into. It's a matter of what can fit on the truck as far as power-wise. We definitely ran into an issue yesterday where we did not have enough power. So we've got to figure out what we can afford as far as power. But if we can, I would love to get sweet potatoes on the truck. I think that's definitely something that obviously we should have. So I would love to get sweet potatoes.
So another unique thing too that you have is flavored butter.
Our herb butters, yeah, so that's definitely something that I feel like is going to be our signature. If you get butter, we're always going to say, would you like to try an herb butter instead? And we've got a couple different ones. We've got 3 that we make ourselves. One is called I'm a Big Dill, and then one is called Macho Cilantro, and the other one is called the Big Hit. And the Big Hit is really, really spicy. It's got habanero pepper, jalapeno pepper. It does have a little bit of orange zest, which throws everyone off because they're like, oh, that was different. I wasn't expecting that. But it's not so much that, like, that's all you taste. It's just enough that it kind of breaks up the heat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cools it down. And
herb butters. And they're good even just, like, on a cracker on the side. And it's funny, me and my girlfriends, like, they've all been telling me, the one even thought it was, like, a cheese spread because she was eating it so much. I'm like, it's butter, be careful. But she was like, no, that just shows you how good it was. So I was pretty happy with that feedback.
Well, and that's so 2 of my favorite foods are butter and baked potatoes. And unfortunately, I'm lactose intolerant. So I was really excited when I came down there. And you also had, you know, vegan and gluten-free and vegan butter. So, like, you know, I was so pumped when I saw it. Yeah, I was so pumped when I saw that.
Some of our compound butters with that butter, so we're not, you know, leaving out the non-dairy folks. My boyfriend's daughter, she can't have dairy either, so I know that's definitely something that she would want to try, but when she finds out it's made with regular butter, she's like, oh, you know, so
can't have it.
I definitely have to consider that.
Yeah, well, I was just purely excited that you had non-dairy butter in general, because that's an issue, you know, in small doses it's okay for me, but I feel like with that I'd just be like, load up the flavored butter, because if you haven't had flavored butter before or tried, I've tried making it, and I have not been as successful as you have, but flavored butter, kind of like, almost like the cinnamon butter you would get at like Texas Roadhouse, but 1,000 times better. 1,000 times better. So that's just, it was so super exciting. So, you know, yesterday you said was like the soft launch, right? So soft launch. So when is the next soft launch, or when is the next launch? When are we officially going to be opening?
Yeah, so I have everything turned in with the health department. I'm pretty much just waiting to hear back from them. I'm hoping, you know, everything's kind of crazy right now, so I don't know if everything's tied up, I'm sure. I'm sure there's things that I left out that I need to include. So there's just going to be some back and forth, and then hopefully, I would love to be open by, we wanted June, but we're getting pretty close. So it's probably going to be like mid-June, beginning of July. My birthday is the end of July, so it would be so awesome if by my birthday we could, but okay. Whenever is the right time is the right time. I'm definitely one of those people that, you know, everything happens for a reason. So when we're supposed to open, those doors will open, and we'll be ready. Hopefully, we'll be ready for it. So
I'm sure, knowing you, and I'll get to this in a second. Knowing you, I'm sure that you have been so super organized and so thorough with everything, because you know, working with you. So Brooke and I met Almost a year ago, maybe a little bit less. I think we're coming up on like a year or so now. August will be a year because it was right after the Tilt Amusements open house, and you ended up driving up here for the open house, and you drove home, and then you drove back for one of my tournaments because you know, we had met and we had just had, and Brooke's energy is just amazing, by the way. And we, you know, flash forward a couple of months, had this crazy drunken idea after one of her tournaments down at Crazy Martin's, which we'll talk about in a second here, to have a 24-hour women's tournament. And it was great. It was awesome. And I'm not going to sit here, and I don't want to be the one to sit and talk about it. But how well organized you are with everything that you do. Brooke doesn't go 100%. Brooke goes 1,000% on everything. So I have no doubt that like everything with the food truck and all of that.
OCD mixed with just hyperness. I'm such a hyper person, I feel like at times. So my energy when I get excited about something, I'm like all in on it. So I think that's probably what it was. And it's when something really excites me, like you said 24-hour tournament, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not going to get any sleep until this is accomplished. So it was like, you're like, I'm having to pick one up lunch with you. And I knew exactly what we were talking about. Like, we pretty much got right to business, too. So it was funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. Now, was there any, because before we talked about that, we talked about the food truck. And I never really asked you about it outside of, you know, I was just so excited when I heard baked potato. But was there any other concepts that you were toying with before you landed on baked potato? Or was it just like, yes?
I wish I could remember what the heck we were just, me and my girlfriend were just sitting there hanging out, watching TV, probably drinking some wine, and I feel like it came up, and I don't know if it was like a commercial we saw or what it was. I wish I could remember. She may remember, but something just was like, oh, potatoes would be a fun concept for a truck, because like, you know, you've got Subway that does toppings on sandwiches, Chipotle does burritos, and all these different things, but we're like, man, potatoes would be really, really good. And that's just kind of how it started. We ran from there. But it was kind of funny because there was at one point, you know, when you have an idea and you're just like, maybe it was stupid. And I kind of put it away. And I just didn't even think about it anymore. And then I came to Columbus for the women's tournament, the one we were getting ready to talk about.
Yep.
And I met Diane from Dayton at Chipotle beforehand, and we had some lunch before we were going to level 1. And we were sitting there, and I was like, I just love these concept of restaurants where you can kind of pick what you want to put the toppings on. She was like, yeah, but I wish there was a place that did this with potatoes. And my heart sank. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I like very calmly got myself together. And I'm like, that's really weird you would say that, because I just bought a food trailer and it's sitting in my driveway and I'm freaked out about it. And she was like, no kidding, what are you going to do? And I'm like, it's called the baked potato. Like, I've already purchased the LLC. She's like, what? And yeah, so that's when I knew, like, this is meant to be. Like, this is just too right. So we ran with it from there. After that, we just hit the ground running. So we knew kind of all along it was going to be potatoes.
And that was my reaction too, I think, when you told me it was right after New Year's when we met before the 24-hour tournament, and you were talking to me about the other things that you were working on, and you're like, yeah, I have a food truck, and I was like, what's it called? And you're like, the baked potato. I was like, shut up. Shut up. Oh my gosh, this is going to be great. I can't wait. I want to be the first customer. I wasn't the first customer, but
one of the.
One of the.
Official.
One of the, yes, but it was absolutely great. I can't wait. Now, do you have a website or any social media or anything around it yet, so if people want to start following you to know when you have your official launch?
Yeah, we do. We have a website. It is just bakedpotatofoodtruck.com. There's no the. It's just bakedpotatofoodtruck.com. But then on Facebook, it is the Baked Potato Food Truck. Not .com. The Baked Potato Food Truck.
Yep.
We do have an Instagram as well, and I believe that one is Baked Potato Food Truck. So yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or our website. Either way.
Perfect. And I'll make sure to get those links from you, put them in the description, so if you want to follow them to know where they're going to be, here this summer, hopefully. I know I'm gonna follow it because I love potatoes and butter, and mix the two together and you get a baked potato, so I'm super, super excited about that. But you always work on 1,000 other projects too. I know that.
My mind's always spinning.
You are a human machine. So is there anything else? I know, before all of this happened, you were working on the HAWT League, right? So the Smokin HAWT League, which stands for?
Helping All Women Together.
How did you come up with that name?
I'm pretty sure it was just something that, I knew I wanted to do something with women, because I knew I wanted to do a women's league. I really love playing pinball. I love going to bars to play pinball. I love going to people's houses to play pinball. I love playing with everybody. But I did not have that girl group of, girlfriends that I play pinball with. And that is definitely something I was craving. I'm like, I just want, me and my girls to get together. And then I thought, I can just do that with friends. But what if I picked a certain date, and then I can open it up, and then what if I met new people by doing that? So that was the concept, and I'm so glad I did, because it worked out exactly as I planned. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it started. The Smokin idea came from my boyfriend, Devin, and Crazy Martin's is a head shop. So we just kind of threw that in because that's where the location was. And then the HAWT is just for helping all women together. I just thought that would be kind of perfect too. And then I'm like, wow, HAWT is kind of fun. Smokin HAWT. Boom, there we go.
Yep. I loved it. I know, we just talked about earlier. We met, and it was literally right before you were about to have your first tournament. I think it was 2 weeks before your first tournament, and I was so upset because that was the same weekend as Clepen. So I couldn't come to the first one, but I know I'm pretty sure I went to every single one after that, weather pending.
Oh yeah.
And that the location, like you mentioned, is Crazy Martin's. So tell me a little bit about Crazy Martin's.
Yeah, so Crazy Martin's is Devin's head shop. He's had it for over 20 years, and we were located at there was an old mall in Piqua, and he was located there, but then, malls kind of started to fall out. A new mall was built, the old one went out, and he moved to Main Street in Piqua, and that's where he's been for over 20 years. And I want to say it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, kind of started getting into pinball, and he bought an Elvira and the Party Monsters, and that was his first game, and he caught the bug from there.
Caught the bug?
Caught the bug.
How many machines? No. Catching a bug of pinball is way different than Devin's collection. Brooke and Devin's collection, how many machines do you have?
I don't know. Maybe... probably over 75, maybe.
That's a little more than a bug.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. We may be addicted to collecting games. That's fair to say.
Yes, but so he caught the bug, and from there he got Elvira. Then what was next from there?
From Elvira, he bought Ghostbusters. But that took a little while to get. And so in the meantime, he bought a few more. And I can't remember the order, but I know he got The Walking Dead was one of the first Sterns that was downstairs. And then he picked up, I think the big thing was he wanted to get one pinball machine. And the guy was like, well, if you buy this whole package deal of 4 games, then it would be this price. And he was going to go to Tennessee to pick them up. So he rented a trailer, went to Tennessee to pick them up, and next thing you know, we had almost 10 pinball machines.
Wow.
And then it was kind of well, we're collectors now.
It just went from there. And it just went from there.
It went from there.
All right, so you've got the baked potato, Smokin HAWT's kind of paused right now, but you also stream, right? So you've got the upper playfield, and nobody's gonna get that joke except for you and I. So you got the upper playfield where you stream from Crazy Martin's. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the upper playfield is up above Crazy Martin's, and that's where we keep the collection. So we just thought streaming would be like a really fun way to kind of get the collection out there, and just for us to have fun, because sometimes we get so busy working on games or working on just things in general, we forget to play pinball. So this was like our way to like settle down and be like, okay, on Monday nights we get together and we stream and we play pinball, and typically for hours, and it's so much fun. We kind of get wrapped up in it. So it started with me, Devin, and then Colin, our friend that works down at the store. And it just kind of grew from there. Like, it's usually always us three, but then, like, we had Janice from Smokin Pinball. She's a tournament player. And she joined us. And then there was the time our friend Dana joined us. A customer of ours from the store, he, like, kind of clicked with talking about pinball with us. And one thing led to another, and yeah, we had him over, and Jason, and he streamed with us. So it's been kind of fun playing with different people.
Yeah.
Too. It's been, yeah, kind of an interesting way to learn other people's skills. Like, they teach you different things too, so that's kind of cool seeing how they play.
Yeah, that's always something I think is really fun, especially when streaming, and you get different people on, because you can see, you know, what their strategy is or how they play, and, you know, they might play a little bit differently than you, and you learn something. But not only that, but like interacting with the stream in general. I know you've had a couple of really great stream interactions when you've been doing different games. So what has been some of the more active, I guess I would say, the more active games that people are like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that game, or oh my gosh, I love that game, that you've had?
Yeah, there's been a few, but the people loved when we did the volley wide body night.
Ooh.
That was really cool, because people are like, ooh, I've seen that one, but I haven't seen this one. Or, oh, cool, I play this one all the time. It seemed like Future Spa was one that people played a lot, and so they loved to see that one. That was a fun one. Embryon was a lot of fun to play. I specifically remember Alice Cooper, Nightmare Castle, when we played that one. It was really fun because they were like teaching me things as I was playing. Like, Brooke, do this or try that, and so that was kind of cool. So yeah, those are definitely some memories I have of people kind of interacting, and I miss streaming. I miss being able to hop on there, and even though we weren't around a bunch of people, we were still connected with people. So it was really cool. We met some people from Australia were hopping on, like a late night hour, because it was different time zones.
Yep.
So it was like a prime time for them. So it was just cool. It was just something interesting and fun to do. We were learning more about our games because we were playing one game after another.
Yep.
So instead of just like playing a game and walking away, like, we got to learn certain things, or like, this one's, you know, known for doing this, or a big one is like learning how the ball is going to fall down the lane, to know how to switch your, you know what I'm saying, to, like, if you have to spell cab, you know, okay, this game typically wants to go to the C, so, you know, like, just little things like that you pick up on when you play it back to back to back to back.
Yeah, like your rollovers up top, or, yeah, your spelling, you know, if you're doing something like Mars Attacks, Attack from Mars. That's what I think of every single time I think of that game. I'm always like, Mars Attacks. That would be a great theme. Hint, hint, anybody. But yeah, so, you know, doing your role. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, you know, one thing too, why a lot of people like to practice beforehand, because then they can kind of get the feel of how it plays. But then also a game that you haven't, you know, ever really played that much before. Like you said, you play one game and you're like, oh, that's fun. But then when you play it over and over again, you start to learn other subtle nuances about the table that are just, you know, a great thing that you're like, yeah, you know what? I can really see why people are drawn to this table. Really see why people are drawn to this table. So if people want to follow you, are you usually do on Twitch. So are you the upper playfield on Twitch, or are you something else?
We are Smokin Pinball on Twitch, so you can find us there. We haven't been streaming lately just because our schedules have been crazy. The store hasn't been open regular hours, so our timing's just been kind of off. But we hope to get back to it as soon as things get back to normal. We plan on getting back to streaming, so I miss it, and I was learning a lot of things, so I need to get back on there and keep learning and
so
having fun.
In the meantime, if people want to watch the VODs, where can they find those at?
Yeah, you can go to, I believe they're still on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, you can look up Smokin Pinball, There's also footage from our 24-hour pinball tournament. We had Irvin streamed the whole 24 hours right alongside with us, and we have all the footage broken down, I believe, by the game on YouTube.
Yeah, which would be by the round, because we did a different game every single round, so.
Yeah. So that's how it's broken up on there. So you can kind of find, if you know where you're at, if you're, one of the girls want to look it up, you can find where you're at based on the game. But yeah, all the footage is on there, and then some of the videos that we did from streaming on Twitch are on there as well. Not all of them. We got to get the rest uploaded, but some of them are on there.
So I'll make sure to put a link to both the Twitch as well as the YouTube in the description. So what's another theme that really just you're drawn to?
I absolutely love Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's one that I didn't think that I would care for much. It was one we kind of overlooked. A friend of ours was like, you should check Dracula out. I feel like that's kind of your style, Devin. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And then we were checking out the Miss Multi-Ball. I'm like, oh, the magnet just travels along. And that's it. We were sold. And then Devin got a couple mods for it. And then I watched the movie. Oh my gosh. It's like a love movie. It's like Romeo and Juliet. It's like a classic love story, I feel like. So it's I'm a chick flick girl to heart. So I'm sitting there sobbing, and Devin's like, what happened? This was supposed to be a pinball night. Now it's I'm all into this girly movie. So now anytime it's on, he's like, your movie's on.
I've actually never seen it. I've never seen it.
It's actually really good. It really is.
But that actually brings a good point of something. Okay, so anytime Brooke and I get together, I always think of these absolutely brilliant ideas. And I feel like there should be, maybe something that we can do right now is we can do a pinball movie night once a month, right? Because you've got that awesome setup upstairs. As I'm pimping out Brooke's place again. No, this is what I'm no, this is purely a suggestion, but what would be really fun is that, yeah, we can't have tournaments right now, but, maybe, for when we all feel comfortable going out, we have, a nice group get together and do, a pinball movie night and watch a movie or a TV show or something themed based off of a pinball table. And then we can watch pointers on how to get better at that table and then play that table. That would be fun.
Yeah, there's so many good ones. We would never be able to watch all of them.
Oh no, we couldn't. Where would you start though? Where would you start? What would be the first one?
Well, first of all, Dracula, if you've not seen that.
I haven't.
Also, just a side note, there's another movie called, I think it's called Dracula Dead and Loving It, or maybe just Dead and Loving It, but it's a spoof of Dracula.
Okay.
It's hilarious. So if you've never seen that, you gotta check that one out too.
But I have to watch Dracula first.
You have to watch Dracula
because
the pinball machine's based off of that.
Yes.
There's another one I would watch. Ghostbusters would be fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't, the first time I ever watched Ghostbusters after I had started playing pinball, because I'd seen it when I was a kid, right? And then maybe a couple of times as an adult, in college and whatnot. But the first time I had watched it after I had had tons of playtime on Ghostbusters, it was so hard for me because I'm that's a call out. That's a call out. There's another call out. There's a call out. And I could just hear all the call outs in my head. I'm no, I want to play Ghostbusters.
That's another topic. Because just recently, we drove to Columbus. We were visiting the barn, picking something up. And I'm listening to some Metallica. Sad But True comes on. And I'm I love this song. I'm rocking out. And Devin's naming out different call outs from pinball machines as the song's playing. And I'm just continuously driving, just laughing. AC/DC, I think Hell's Bells came on. And he's shoot the ball, press the cannon, fire the cannon,
fire the cannon.
I'm that's cool, just keep going. So yeah, when you're a fan of pinball, that's what happens.
It is. One of the things that I used to do with when I was after college and I had made some new friends, we would have themed dinner nights. So we would watch Jurassic Park and eat dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. So. And this is me, because again, with Brooke, I'm like, I get all these really great ideas. I'm like, man, I should have like a themed dinner with watching a pinball movie and then playing pinball. That would be, so with Embryon, I instantly go to like eggs, which is really funny because I don't eat eggs, but I'm like, no.
Well, when you watch this embryo movie, you're not far off.
Okay.
So, in a twisted way, that would make sense.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that would be me eating eggs. James makes fun of the faces that I make when I eat foods that I don't like, and we went to there's a really great ramen place in Columbus. The next time you come up to, because it's close to the short north, next time you come up, I'll send it to, I'll send it to you, so if you like ramen, I would go to this place. But with ramen, usually there's like a soft boiled egg in it, and I don't do eggs in general. But, you know, your appetite changes an adult, and I was like, I'm gonna try it, because I haven't had a soft-boiled egg since a kid. Yeah, no.
No, still no. I don't blame you.
Still no. Still a no. That is still an absolute no. So is there any foods that you were like that with, where you're like, yeah, I didn't like it as a kid, and then I tried it as an adult?
I still don't like it. I'm a very picky person, so there's tons of foods that I will not eat. I'm getting better at it, but I'm like just a meat and potatoes kind of girl. I don't do like as many green veggies as I should. Yeah, do way too much carbs, you name it.
So what's
like the food I will not eat, like I don't do broccoli. I've never been a fan.
Okay.
Definitely not a fan of broccoli. A green bean, if it's like sauce or soft and like seasoned, okay, I can deal with that, especially if like it's in a pot roast or something.
Throw some bacon on there, delicious.
Bacon on there, you know, I can do that. But yeah, I really need to get better at eating healthier. So hopefully with this baked potato truck, you know, I'm eating herbs now. So look at me. I mean, who am I?
There you go. So if we ever travel to Asia together, then you and I are going to be in the same boat, because while their food looks so delicious, it's a lot of things that I don't eat. So
yeah, I wouldn't know what to do. I would not know what to do. I definitely need to be more cultured, for sure.
Well, even like that, but like even just going to like New England area, I would love to travel to New England. It looks absolutely beautiful. However, I don't like seafood, so there goes lobster and clam chowder thrown out the window, because I won't eat either of those. Yeah. And then just
I worked at Red Lobster for like 4 years or so, maybe 3-4 years, and so I got used to seafood. I could stand it, but like not a big fan. If someone got like a lobster tail, or not a lobster tail, but like shoot, what am I thinking of? Crab legs. Mm-hmm. If they got those and some of like real fine meat that falls apart and did like drench it in butter, I could do a bite. I don't think I could do like a whole thing. But I could do a bite, and then I got used to crab cakes too with like a remoulade sauce.
Okay.
I can do that. But like any like especially like raw shrimp, oh my gosh, no.
Oh gosh, no, I can't do it either.
It's the texture and the consistency.
I think it's...
Like, I can do fish stick. I like fish taste, but I'm not like... It's the texture that gets me, I think is what it is.
For me, it's... I'm a very texture-driven person, too, when it comes to food. But also, it's the smell. And I've heard that if it smells really fishy, it's not very fresh. So, like... when I went to Hawaii when I was in high school, I had fish that I really enjoyed. I think it was mahi.
Yeah.
I think it was mahi, but I think it was like super duper duper fresh. But like they probably just like caught it that morning and then like brought it in. But like for me, like shrimp, lobster, crab legs, even fish sticks, I'm not like a huge fan of. I just don't like seafood. I just don't like it. Some vegetables I can do, but like seafood is like, yeah, no, I'm a meat and potato. Like when you said potatoes, I'm like, I'm in. Like, you know, I'm breakfast minus the eggs, butter, seafood, no, you know, potatoes, basically any dessert and pizza without cheese. So.
Well, I love cheese.
Yes, and I can't do cheese. Yeah.
I don't overdo it with cheese, but I do like cheese.
Yeah,
I
cheese.
don't feel like I eat a lot of it, but I do get it on stuff like, you know, if I get a cheeseburger, I'm not getting a hamburger, I'm getting a cheeseburger.
Cheese, please. Yes, you can have all my cheese. Like, that's just here, you know, or have it. You can have my cheese. That was the hardest thing. So in college, I actually was a TA for a wine tasting class. And the hardest thing was when I had to, like, make the cheese to, like, well, cut up the cheese that would, like, complement the wine they were tasting. You know, because as the TA, I poured the wine and, you know, prepared the plates and things like that. And, yeah, I just, and I was like, I wish I could do the cheese. And, like, ooh, this is a great pairing. But just cheese for me doesn't do it.
That's something else we have in common. I worked at not like a really super fancy wine place, but I worked at this little restaurant in Piqua called Three Joes. And when I worked there, it was called Beppa Uno, but now it's called Three Joes. And they serve like delicious Italian food and wine. And it was something that I had to learn how to like find the bottle and get it open.
Yep.
And then you're standing in front of customers and you're like trying
the proper way to pour. Yes.
Yes, and you want to just grab hold of the neck of the bottle and just get it open, but they're going to be drinking out of that bottle, so you have to, like, properly do it, and sometimes that's really embarrassing. Sometimes you do it like a pro, and you are feeling yourself, and you pour it in their cup, and you're like, I did that, you walk away all confident. But sometimes it spills and you feel stupid.
Well, it was really funny because I have, my brother always jokes around and tells me that I'm a lead foot because I don't speed. I only speed when I'm driving far away. But the professor that I was the TA for said I had a very heavy hand with my pouring. And I was like, is there anything in a heavy hand when you're drinking wine? Come on, no, there's not. Like, so even they were supposed to get like a little taste.
A little bit.
Yeah, no, not for me. And if I like...
The wine glasses, I noticed, just keep getting bigger and bigger over time.
But it was fun. It was a really great experience because I got to, like, go to different wineries and taste wine that I probably would have never drank before. Because I'm, like, the opposite of what most people do. And, like, most people start off drinking whites, right? Drinking the sweet, easy, I call it the grape juice wines. Whereas, like, my dad is a huge, dry, red person. So, like, growing up, that's what I considered wine. Like, he didn't have anything else. So, I was like, this is really good, and that's what I liked. And then, it wasn't until I was TAing for that wine tasting class, and I'm like, what are all these, like, really sweet white wines? How do I not know about these? Ice wine? What is this? This is delicious. I will have some more, please.
It reminds me of when you guys came up and we were, like, getting all the ideas down for our tournament, and Devin's nephew made a bunch of wine, and we drank
those were
4
so
different
good.
kinds that night.
That was so good.
And we sampled, like, how many different kinds did we have? I don't remember, but
at least 4 or 5 different kinds of wine.
And we had a sangria, and we had some sort of white wine. But that was a lot of fun.
It was so much. That's what another thing, when all this is over, we got to plan like a nice like little winery day. I haven't done that. I haven't had like a nice winery day in, especially like a day like today or like a day like yesterday where it's nice outside, it's not too hot, I don't have to worry about bees, and we just sit, get a couple of bottles, hang out, and just chill and like, talk and have some wine. I would enjoy that.
Pinball's a lot of interesting times too, like, because it gets a little hairy. But hey.
Are there any wineries down by you?
There is one called the Winery at Versailles.
Okay.
And that one's really popular. They have wonderful wine. And then I feel so terrible, I don't know the name of it, but Devin's nephew works at a winery, and it's a little ways from here, but close enough that a lot of my girlfriends have like their bachelorette parties there and stuff, or their bridal showers. So I can't think of exactly where it's at, but I know it's far enough, like I said, it's like a travel, but it's not so far that you wouldn't go.
Right.
But he just started working there, but they're a distillery, a winery, and a brewery. So he does all three.
Triple threat.
Well, yeah, he's got it. So it's awesome.
So
Very,
what
very cool.
do they distill? Is that something? I was gonna say, is distillery like specific to one thing, or?
Now they are distilling hand sanitizer.
Ooh.
So I know that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but I to be honest, I don't know what they did before that. If it was like a whiskey or...
That's the one thing that I'm not, like, when it comes to the making of liquor, I don't know if it's considered a distillery if they make whiskey, or if it's like a distillery if they make everything, or, you know what I'm saying? If like distillery is just the general term.
Like a vodka, is that still a distillery? Or, yeah, I'm not sure either. If it's like a... I know that to make certain things is just based off what ingredients you're using, but I don't know if they're all distilleries because they're liquor or what. Might
be something I'll have to look up and then let you know. Yeah. And then when we're at a trivia contest together and somebody says, what do you brew at a distillery? We'll know. We'll know. We know. Yes.
We know.
Oh my goodness. So is there any other projects or any other fun things coming up that we should look forward to from you?
Oh man.
I can pause for a second and say you don't have to talk about the book. Don't.
Okay. Yeah. I was just gonna say the only other thing I really have is the book. I don't know if we should talk about that yet because we're working on it.
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't talk about that. I should have said that before we started filming. But and as soon as I asked that question, I'm like, oh shoot. I don't want her to bring up the book because I don't want her to. I don't think she's ready to talk about it. So I would say, yeah, which we can talk about when we're. Okay.
We are kind of discussing doing something with the upper playfield.
Okay.
Like possibly turning it into like a private club. Ooh. Or like what I was considering was, bear with me, but imagine like. You would buy a ticket to go to, like, Kings Island for the day?
Yeah.
And it's, like, $29.99 for a daily admission or $39.99 for a daily admission?
Yeah.
Well, what if we did that, but we only allowed 10 people? 2 teams of 4 plus a designated driver.
Oh, so, like, private parties.
And we only sold 10 tickets a day, and there were restrictions. You had to be 21 and up unless you discuss with us, and when we decide that it's okay, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, something along those lines, because that's something we could do on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and we could monitor and not feel like, we're too busy to do it. Like, on the weekends, it's our space. We don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, it's not being used. So what if we did that, And then people who would play downstairs, we don't have as many games down there because of what's going on.
Right.
But if they want to play, they can go upstairs and spread out.
Yeah, and it's super easy to maintain, like the social distancing upstairs. And yeah, that would be fun. I could see that. I know there's like some places out there that don't have coin drop. They do a, $20 for like, 3 hours or something like that, where you can come in and you can play all you want for $20, for 3 hours. But no, I could see that. I would pay that. I've joked around with like the manager at level 1. I'm like, how much would it be for me to rent out the place where I could just go in, and play and.
Well, that was the concept too. It's 10 because if somebody theoretically wanted the place to themselves, they could buy all 10 tickets.
Yeah.
If there were 40 tickets available, it's not private. It's too much. It might as well be an open space.
Right.
25 even seems like a lot.
Even 20.
10 was like a perfect amount because it seems like you could really take over the space. If you wanted to bring like packed sandwiches or a salad, you could put it in the fridge. If you wanted to bring your own drinks or beer, you could fill it up and not feel like there's so many people that maybe people are stealing your beer and you don't even know it.
Right.
It would just be a good amount of people that you would almost feel like it's your space.
Yeah.
For the day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
If there was only 10. There might be only 2 groups. Or like if a husband and wife want to buy a ticket, they might not feel like they're there with a bunch of couples. It's just like there's only 10 people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then for the day, because like Devin and I will travel to play pinball, and I hate that you know, if we only pay for 3 hours, well, if we want to step outside for a second, that eats up some of our time.
Mm-hmm.
If we knew we could just be there all day, which most of them are, you just put in your quarters.
Yeah.
If you could be there for the day, you could take your time and, like, really enjoy
and
it.
not feel rushed, right? Especially because with your collection and how many machines you have in your collection, I don't even know, like, I don't even think I've played every single game that you have. And I've been there multiple times. And, you know, even just like, you know, playing, not that I tend to like go towards like some specific games, class of 1812, but yeah, no, I do feel like, you know, if you would walk up in there and be like, oh no, I'm only here for 3 hours, how am I going to get all this in? But if you're like, yeah, I'm here for the day, I could see that. That would be so much fun. I'd pay it.
Yeah.
I would.
So we're just trying to get out the kinks because I don't know, like, you know, like I said, I don't know what people are wanting or what they would want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but we just got to find something that fits in our schedule, but also will kind of incorporate letting other people come up there and play. I think it would be really cool. We enjoy the space. I know other people would, and especially like if you were, you know, I know Zan mentioned once, like, oh, can I have my birthday party up there?
Yes.
Well, that would be a way that, yeah, actually you can. We already have it set up, and this is all you do, and go on here, boom, like, you're good. So,
I should have reached, well, I mean, I still don't know how many people would have felt comfortable, but that would have been a great place to have my birthday party. Zan, you have such the great ideas. Ugh. Yes, but no, when all of this is, you know, over and we all feel safe to go out again, then yeah. I'm excited to come down and play. Is there any, so before, and I know JJ's just so excited to hear this, I know, so, is there any final thoughts or anything that you want to, what I always like to say, convey to the masses, before we wrap things up?
I would just say I'm looking forward to what's coming up. I'm looking forward to new games coming out. I'm looking forward to places being able to open back up, to get back into production so they can do what they love to do. I'm excited for expos and tournaments and hopefully Cincinnati. Yes, I'm even looking forward to the barn in August. They do a party, and I'm looking forward to that. So just little things along the way. I'm looking forward to getting more games out at Crazies, like just anything like that. I'm really excited about the future, and yeah, I just looking forward to all of it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, pinballers, flippers, however you want to call it, Brooke Spradlin, thank you so much for joining. I had so much fun, like I always do, talking to you. And as always, I'm probably going to spend some time talking to her after this interview. So I super appreciate you coming on and hanging out with me. And for you, everybody watching, I definitely appreciate it. As always, if you liked the video that you saw, don't forget to hit that like button. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you know when new videos get posted. Everybody, Brooke, again, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you later.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Oh, I always have fun with you.